Hello. Hello, everybody. Johnning, Clarence, Tiana. Oh, Logan. Wow. Couldn't get enough last week.
He's
Hey,
now
Ashley.
he's here to heckle me since I heckled him last time.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, how's everybody's day going?
Well, now that Encompass is going okay, much better.
Did you get logged out?
Yeah, we were having problems earlier.
That's what I got emails from Jamie. She was like, help us, please send this out right now. Hello, Carrie, Cole, Jackie.
Lane, how are you?
Oh, I miss you. It's so good seeing it.
Too.
Everybody say hello to Greg. He loves the attention.
Where's Greg? Hi, Greg.
Hi, Greg.
Greg,
you're on mute.
I'm gonna find you.
Hey, Logan, are you going to do this again this week? You're going to it's going to be the Logan show every week?
No, this is definitely not the Logan show. This is the Mike Clark Power Hour. All right, we're going to get financial advice. It's going to talk about the market, where to put our money.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I fell asleep. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, literally nothing at all what I'm going to talk about, but way to go, Logan.
Straight finance.
Mike, we brought Logan to heckle you.
Oh,
I know. As long as Mark Maloney doesn't show up on the call, I think I'll be fine. I think I'll be able to handle Logan.
He just dialed in from 6 locations.
Right. From everywhere from Singapore to wherever, right?
Elaine, I'm desperately trying to like sneak up and come see you next week because you're going to be in New Jersey. Like you're going to be within an hour from me. I'm like, I have to find a way to get there. I'm moving those days too, but I'm going to find a way to get there.
Where do you live now?
I live in this little town called Acco. I live in the house I grew up in. It's my family's homestead and my aunt's moving in retirement. And I'm moving in with Evan, but I'll find a way to get to you, brother. You're going to be so close.
Okay. I am excited. I've never been to Jersey, so I'm like dying.
New Jersey.
Who is
Have
that,
some
Greg? Can
respect.
somebody
Yeah.
mute him? Can somebody mute Greg? I'm sorry. The disrespect.
Yeah. As soon as you get back, you'll start referring to water as water.
Water.
Glass of water.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Oh man, I had a good question. I'm writing down my questions really quick that I have for Mike. My first question is, how do you handle when people call you Mark?
Oh, it's the worst. It's even worse now that I met Mark Maloney.
I know. Yeah. Is he on? Is he on?
You guys look so much alike.
Right.
He's not here yet. Feel free to bash him. I'll throw up a warning when I see his phone join.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I'm
You be on the
kidding.
lookout.
My boy.
I'm just gonna let some more people get on.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have to, if you want to just like unmute and chime in and talk, feel free to do it. We'll hear this about 4 more times, but this is meant to be a conversation, even though we'll have all of us on here. So you can just kind of interrupt Mike all the time. You know, that's what Mike was like, wants to be interrupted. No, I'm just kidding, but feel free to unmute.
Only heckled just a little bit.
Just a little bit, only heckle. But if you got a question or you want to make a connection, you know, with him, he is our star, but we should pin him, shouldn't we? So he doesn't get lost in the. Is he pinned only for me? Is he pinned for everybody now?
I don't even know what that means. Like, what are you even talking about?
Now you guys are going steady.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
There are worse people to go study with, Mike. Trust me.
I was going to say the same to you, Blaine.
How is everybody doing today? Anybody got any like super cool win to give? I just got back from Cleveland. A few of us went there for
Leaving Cleveland
NARAB.
is a win.
Cleveland was a win.
No, leaving Cleveland is a win.
Yeah, it was very difficult for us to get out. Our flight was supposed to be an hour and a half, and then it ended up sitting on the plane for 7 hours. It was in the sky. We had to like divert. They're like, passengers, we're running out of fuel.
No, you would have seen me on the news because that's about where I would have like lost my mind. 7 hours on a plane. Like I would have been trying to cut my way out.
And they didn't. Yeah, and they didn't even offer us any snacks. I was like, what if I didn't eat before this? So it
Did
was
you buy booze?
no.
Did they run out of booze in that 7 hours while you were circling and everybody was like, oh my gosh?
There was a baby crying like pretty much the whole time too.
Oh, I would've-
Anyway, I got
About
out,
the
kissed
booze?
the ground. I kissed the ground. I was like, thank you.
We're happy
So,
you
but-
made it safely back.
Yeah. But this is about Mike today. So we're going to get on with Mike talking. He's got a hard stop at 3 before because he's got a meeting after this. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk about how you are amazing.
You're far too kind, Blaine.
Yeah. So my first question, so I'm going to start off with my first question. Feel free, you can chat your question. I'm going to moderate. This is Mike's show though. And my first question to get us going, to set the mood. Welcome on everybody. Thank you for joining today. This is again, Mission Mentor, which is about talking to our leadership and how they got where they got and any kind of advice we can get from them for how they got where they got. My first question though is, do you like pineapple on your pizza? And I want to start here because it seemed like this was a big deal for you.
Yeah, surprisingly I do, but it has to be balanced with something a little salty, and so it has to have some ham on it. You can't just willy-nilly throw pineapple on pizza and expect it to be good, in my opinion.
I know right now somebody is like cringing in their seats. They're like,
Don't knock it till you try it.
I love pineapple on mine. Tell everyone. Oh, look, Greg has already said, he said, what's this picture going on behind you? So you should ask your question.
Yeah. So I love this part. So you may notice this is a very world famous picture behind me. And so I will give the first 3 people who chat where this picture came from into the chat here 50 kazoo points. 2 already got it. There you go.
Greg, but
Do we
Greg,
have to chat or can we talk? Because we're supposed to talk on this thing, right, Mike?
Oh, there he is. You can
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, we could talk, guys. You guys can turn on your mics and talk.
we already said that. Thanks, LA.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
So Greg, I'm disqualifying you and Logan because I've already told you the story. And I think
I told you the story. I should be disqualified. I nailed who said it, what movie, what part, where they were.
very, very convincing. You got it. So do you want me, so is it good, Blaine? Do you want me to give like a little background of like kind of,
Yeah, why you chose EPM or how you came to EPM. We'll start there. What's your path, or what's something that you told me something very interesting about you. I don't want to lead you here. I don't want to lead the story, but talk about that first, like your past.
yeah, so I'll share with everybody. I mean, it's not a secret. Of course, it's not going to be a secret after I talk about it. But I have I think a little bit of an unusual path in terms of how I got where I am, and I think maybe it's relevant to the conversation. So, you know, I came from a very blue collar family, lots of, you know, policemen, firemen, construction workers, like, and I was the very first person in my family to go to college. I'm very proud of that. And so graduated college, took the CPA exam right after, passed all 4 parts. Super proud of that. Worked for a large accounting firm for about 10 years where I built some skill set, you know, good foundation. I didn't know it at the time, but it was really kind of a good foundation of education for me. And then after 10 years of that, I've basically been a CFO for, you know, however many years since then. And so the unusual part is when I was starting my junior year in high school, I just got my first car, which I built with my father. It was, you know, kind of special. And so it was kind of a little hot rod. And of course, I knew everything there was to know about life at that point, right? I was 16 and a half years old or whatever I was. And so, you know, being a stubborn kid that I was, mom was like, you got to do this and you got to do that, and you got to do this. And I'm like, eh. So I dropped out of high school. And so for the next probably 3 years, from 16 to 19, I worked for my dad in construction in South Florida. Super, super hot out here, right? Working outside. And slowly but surely, I'm like, you know, I kind of want something a little bit different. Started to go to school, community college I started in, you know, one class, didn't really pay attention, got an A. 2 classes, didn't really pay attention. Maybe I applied myself a little bit, got A's. Started to realize, hey, I'm actually kind of, pretty smart at this thing. And so it just kind of snowballed from there to being super successful in school, and graduating with straight A's and doing the CPA and all that. And so, not a lot of people know that story. And now,
Wow.
all of you know it.
That's really cool. I was the first person in my school to go, my family to go to college as well. But LA wants to know, what kind of car was it that you built when you were 16?
1979 Camaro. I'm a Chevy guy. So my dad and I built the motor, and we had a little shop that we tinkered around in where we lived. And it
Nice.
was some really special moments with me and my dad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When Mark is on now, by the way. So
Oh,
Yeah, cut it out.
yeah, I
can
say
you
Jackie.
please
Very
mute him or something, please?
Hi, Rumi. How are you, buddy?
Oh, Mark, what's up, man? I've been talking about you, brother. How you doing?
How are things?
Oh, so good. So glad you made it. Thank you. Really.
Yeah, no problem. I'm doing your laundry, by the way. I really appreciate you leaving it there. So,
Oh,
well done.
great. Do me a favor, separate the darks from the lights, please, and put a little more fabric
All-
softener in. Last time it
all
was a
going
little
in.
sort of scratchy.
All going in together, all bleached. No, all good.
Hello, Scratchy.
Michael Lloyd asked in the chat, during your 10 years as a CPA, what industry was that in?
Yeah, so good question. It was a lot of different industries. And so I was primarily on the audit side, not on the tax side. And so I went in and I audited books. At the time, I think the firm I worked for was the fourth or fifth largest. And some of my clients were mortgage banking and some weren't. And so when I first left public accounting, I went into subprime mortgage, and it was right before the crash, lucky me. And so, but after that, I was able to draw on that experience and go be the CFO for a manufacturing company and a distribution company. And so, but really my passion is mortgage, which is why I'm back in this space.
Perfect. I'm sorry. Eric just sent me a message and wants me to ask his question next. So let me go through those. Tell us about when you recently had a conflict with a coworker and embraced the conflict successfully. Winky face with a tongue.
Well, I mean, I embrace.
Thanks for that one. Thanks.
Yeah, I embrace conflict.
He also asked, do you have a cool roommate? He also says, you seem like a super fit dude. Can you tell us about your fitness goal? He also said, I feel the love.
Okay,
One question. One question.
Jesus,
yeah, this is Eric Skates, who really, instead of unmuting himself, needed me to read it. So
Okay.
I'm just picking on him.
So there was only about 77 questions, I think, that you just rattled off. So
yeah. So
embracing conflict was the first one, right?
Yeah.
So I embrace conflict every day. And so I've embraced them with Eric before. I've embraced some with my loving roommate, Mark, as recent as yesterday. And, it's not always easy, right? And sometimes there's pushback and there's, conflict that's got to be resolved. And sometimes you don't resolve the conflict, but I feel like being open and honest, with the right people, as long as they're willing to hear it, it's got to be said sometimes.
Yeah. What do you think you gain from embracing conflict?
I think you gain listening to someone else's perspective of things. And so, in my role on the finance side, it's intuitive to me. It's in my DNA to think about finance, right? And just think of things from a financial perspective. And so oftentimes it's good for me to embrace that conflict, say my side, right? And maybe I open the other person's eyes to my perspective. But more often what happens is, my eyes get open to, how everybody else views the world, maybe a little bit differently.
And so Mark said, all joking aside, what's the hardest part of your role here?
Hardest part of my role here. I think in the beginning, because I still consider myself the new guy, it's relationships and knowing where to pick my spots on when to embrace that conflict, honestly, right? And so I think embracing conflict is great, but sometimes I think sitting back and listening understanding, a little bit more about a situation before you just run into the fire and embrace that conflict. Plus, I think, we were kind of in a unique situation because the accounting and finance department, really didn't have great leadership. And I think it's fair. I can say that, and so, that was a challenge in the beginning, but now the challenge is maybe shifting a little bit more towards kind of getting everybody, in leadership, kind of thinking a little more financially minded when maybe before, we weren't really focused on that.
I have a question.
Mark?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 4 cores, right? Our 4 cores are own unique, struggle well, unify through collaboration, and show the way. Can you give when you hear the term struggle well? No, I don't want to do that. I hate that one. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
You love that one.
That's the one
your
I love.
favorite one.
It's the one he wrestles with the most.
It's the one I wrestle. Actually, so answer that one. It is the one I wrestle with the most. So what does struggle well mean to you, Mike?
So struggle well, by the way, and you may have already guessed this because of my role. That's like, that one's my baby. Like, delivering results, making it accurate, putting in the extra effort to make sure that you understand every aspect of it, particularly in finance and accounting. Like, me and my team, we talk about that all the time. Not just doing the job to get the job done and check that box, so to speak, but making sure it's done right. That one is really important to me.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have one that you struggle well with, like one of the 4 core, like LA, struggles with struggle well? Do you have one?
I would probably say the unify through collaboration is maybe one that I struggle a little bit with. I tend to, sometimes things are pretty clear in my mind and I'm pretty dead set and stubborn. Certainly my wife would, if she were on the call, she would tell you that. And so I think, me needing to slow down and, collaborate with people, get other people's input, that's something that isn't necessarily something that's just, part of who I am. I have to give that some special thought to focus on that one,
Which makes sense when at 16, your mom is like, do this. And you're like, actually, I'm going to go do this on my own, right? You're like, nah, I got my own thing. That makes a lot of sense. So an easy question. Logan wants to know, what's your go-to meal, or like, what's your favorite food?
What's my favorite food? So I'm Italian and Irish, even though I look Irish. And so I love to cook. And so I was always raised with my mom's, home cooked Italian food. So I would say my go-to would be something like, homemade spaghetti and meatball, or like an eggplant parm, something like that.
What about Tyson chicken cut up on salad?
So as Mark well knows,
Is that what he eats?
I don't prefer the Publix fried chicken as much as he does, but I like the organic Tyson frozen ones that I put in the oven, bake them, chop them up, and throw them on a salad.
Except for when he eats all of them, right? Until you can get to him.
Suha asks a question, moving on. What's your favorite downtime activity?
Okay, so I have golf is certainly one of my favorite downtime activities. And just so everybody knows, because you're not aware of the history, and I really need Mark muted for this one, right? Because he's a golfer, he's a much better golfer, and he, continues to give me a hard time about it. But golf is definitely one of them.
You look like it.
He's all right.
He's all right. And I like to go to the gym. Like that's my, that's kind of my time to just sort of get in my own head and, go to the gym and, do a workout. And I'm a CrossFit guy. I've been doing it for a decade, and I just, it's hard. It pushes me beyond, my comfort zone, and I get a great feeling of satisfaction out of it. Those are like the 2 things I like to do on my downtime.
Casey, speaking of Mark and golf and all the things you do in your downtime, Casey asked, this is a good question. Is it true that you beat Mark playing golf? Is it true you beat him all the time?
See, this is good.
Let me answer this one. He beats me all the time. He beats me all the time, not at golf though.
Right.
All right. So
yeah. So,
Oh, it's a beautiful.
I've never
Right,
played.
so-
I never played with Mike. I look forward to it, but we've never played together.
yeah, nice diplomatic answer. So somebody who will remain nameless likes to give Mark a hard time about how I can beat him, but the reality is I'm not even close to being on his level. But it is still good, fun.
Sorry, I'm jumping around.
Alright.
Any other questions y'all have for, y'all can just pipe in.
Yeah, can I use your office when you're not in town?
Definitely not.
I figured. Worth a try. Worth a try.
What's the
Only if you
hardest
leave a couple
part?
bottles of wine.
It's a work in progress. It's a
Right.
work in progress.
Right.
What's the hardest part about being the newest chief?
But
How do you?
Yeah, I think it's relationship based. I think it's just hard to, particularly as a CFO. It's like I'm in everybody else's shit, right? I just have to be, because everything has a financial impact, and so and everybody reacts a little bit differently to that, and so I think there's a lot of time that and thought that goes into building relationships so that people know that, hey, I'm really coming from a good place, and I'm not just a guy who's like wants to beat somebody over the head, except in Mark's case, which I love, beating on him. But I think that has been the most difficult part for me. Plus, I wasn't really used to change. Like the role I was in before, I was there for 8 years, and
you would think as an accounting person you would be used to change because of money. You get it? No? Okay.
Waka
Right.
waka waka.
Why did the football player go to the bank? To get his quarterback, right?
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah. So that was a little tough for me, because I was kind of, still for 8 years, the same company, the same culture, the same people. Like, it was just hard for me to kind of in the beginning get used to everybody.
Yeah, I could understand that.
Yeah.
So you have, we only have a few minutes left with you because you said you have to jump off for another meeting since you lead this. So Jackie asks, what is your best financial tip that you could give us in a short kind of way, which I thought was great for you. That's a great question to ask of you.
That's my girl, Jackie. I embraced some conflict with Jackie earlier today too. And by the way, as a result, I think both of our eyes were probably opened a little bit to each other's perspective, and we really got to a great place.
Awesome.
Would you agree with that, Jackie?
I totally agree with that. Sorry, I had a great time.
Okay, good.
Let's do it again.
Me too, yeah. So to answer your question, my best financial advice is 401k. No matter how little or how much, whatever you can afford, get used to contributing to a 401k in whatever amount you can. And I know it's easy sometimes to say, but maybe it's done the next time you get a pay raise. And if you get a 5% pay raise, take 3% of that or 2% or some percentage of that, start contributing to the 401k. Because here's why. Tax deferred, right? And so you'll be able to contribute to the 401k a larger amount than you're going to see coming out of your paycheck, because that's a net amount, because it's before taxes. And so you've got a larger amount therefore growing in the 401k. And on top of it, the company gives you free money with the match. It's literally free money.
Which is
right?
so amazing. Sorry.
It's
so
amazing.
amazing. It's one of my favorite things about
Agreed.
It's literally, if you max out the 401k, it's literally thousands of dollars a year extra that the company pays you into this account that will grow over time. And if you leave it in there over a lifetime of 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, it's going to grow to be a very sizable and meaningful amount. And so that's my number one financial advice. And I'm also pitching our 401k at the same time.
That's good. It's branding.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of questions coming in, and so I want to we're going to do kind of like a quick quest, whatever. Do you have a fun project on a car that you're working on now?
No, see, I haven't, since my dad passed away a few years ago, and so I haven't really been tinkering much, although I have all of his tools and everything in my garage now, and so probably at some point I may want to take that hobby up again. But with everyday life, with 3 kids, one going to go to college in a year, it's hard to find the time for that stuff.
Yeah. This is from Fraser directly. What's the hardest part about working with Mark, and why is Fraser your favorite executive?
Well, I think why Fraser's my favorite executive just goes without saying. I mean, everybody who knows Fraser knows the answer to that question. And the truth is, I love Mark. Everybody thinks we hate each other. We don't.
I love you too.
Oh, you're so sweet. Look at you.
Aw, the
Look at
love.
you.
How are you a Raiders and a Marlins fan? How? Not are, but how are you?
All right. So that sounds like a Mark Maloney question.
It's a Logan question.
Okay, fine. So Raiders is easy. You guys have heard me mention my dad 3 or 4 times. He was always a Raider fan. And so just growing up, you know, I just always wanted to be like my dad. And so it stuck, right? And Marlins, actually, if this were a list of things that I gave a shit about, the Marlins is literally the last one on that list. And so I truly could care less about baseball, except I would love for the Marlins to finish ahead of the Mets every single year, because of course the Mets are Mark Maloney's favorite team.
Nice. Can I say shit too? I want to say shit.
Yep.
Oh, everybody turn their mics on and say shit.
Shit.
So Shalonda just texted me, just like Eric, and now she's saying I need to ask her question next. So why do they call you JR?
Jesus. Okay. Yes, I
that's
am
gonna stick.
because I am a junior.
Nice.
Because yes.
Just like Eddie. You and Eddie have that in common.
I am also a junior.
Great. And if I had a boy, which I didn't, I had 3 girls, there
You would have had a tray.
There would be a tray.
Yeah. All right. So next question. What do you look for in a mentor? And this will be the last kind of question. So sorry I didn't get to all the questions. What do you look for in a mentor? And what qualities can make or break someone in leadership? There's kind of 2 questions. So let's just go with that second one. What qualities can make or break someone in leadership?
Leadership is hard, right? And I think we're all, I know myself, is still evolving. And so it's a never ending game of improvement. And so like every few years, I'll look back at, you know, who I was 3 years before, and I'm a different person, you know, all the time and constantly evolving. And so it's and there's setbacks along the way. It's never a straight line, right? It's never like if you're charting it, it's not like that. It's hard because in leadership, you make the switch from doing the work yourself and being held accountable for what you're doing to empowering, motivating, and leading a group of others to do the work. And it's a very different skill set. And it's something that, you know, I still work on to this day. I forgot the other part of the question. What was it?
Well, the other one is just what do you look for in a mentor?
Oh, I've had a lot of great mentors. And what's interesting is I take a little bit from each of them, right? Like if I look back at the 3 or 4 mentors that I've had, and not to take anything away from them or their successes or who they were as human beings, but like they were never the complete package in my opinion, but each of them had a certain something about them that I was like, you know what, that's pretty cool. You know, I want to try and be more like that. And so, you know, there's a few people here at EPM. Eddie's certainly one of them, you know, that I look up to, and there's many aspects of, you know, of who Eddie is that, you know, that I try to do better with myself. But yeah, no, it's a hodgepodge of a few different mentors that I've had throughout my career.
And I think we have time for one more question. Okay. And I think this is the best question to end on.
Goodest.
The most good. How do you feel about Bitcoin?
That's got
That one's mine.
That's gotta be a Maloney question.
Yeah.
It's dumb. I hate it. First of all, explain it to me. What is it? I have no idea what it is. You want me to invest in it? What is it? What is it backed by? We have to mine it? Is it just as likely to go to zero as it is to go to $200,000? Like,
You're gonna owe me the bet, by the way. You're gonna owe me the bet. It's up to 40 now.
Right. Explain it to me. What is it? Tell me.
Mark, I feel like you set him up a little bit there. That wasn't right. That was double messed up, Maloney, what you did with that question. So smart.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
I gotta go, but I love you, Mike. You're the greatest.
Yeah, love you too. Forget about Bitcoin. take my advice, contribute to the 401k here, wherever you go, like do that throughout your career.
Awesome. Well, we'll wrap up now, everybody. So thank you all for joining. Thank you, Mike, for giving us all this wonderful advice and talking about us. Thank you for sharing today.
Thank you.
Any last words you want to say?
No, thank you for everybody joining and listening to me. I appreciate it, and always happy to have more conversations like this, one-on-one or otherwise. So my door's always open.
Awesome. And we will see you guys next week. If you want to join for Mission Mentor, we will have Fraser on, who we will pick his mind. So excited for that. So thank you all for joining today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And Mike, see you when you head back to the home office.
Great job,
Bye, y'all.
Mike. That was awesome.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Mike.
I appreciate
Bye, y'all.
it.
That'd be great.
All right.